company doing 42 million monthly visitors just moved their website off Next.js. And for the next week, your timeline is going to be, oh, Next.js is dead, Next.js is bad just because of this. And honestly, this is not what happened. I read the entire whole postmortem and numbers are genuinely mixed. One of them is worse after the migration and they say it themselves. Quick context, because scale is what makes this data very interesting. When Lovable launched, they made $10 million ARR in just 2 months. So they grew exponentially. And currently their application is doing 42 million plus monthly unique visitors, crazy number, and the application itself has more than 400 routes, 910,000 lines of code, and specifically non-generated code, which means it was written by real humans. And it supports over 150 agent tools across different types of agents. And with all of that, it also has a small IDE with syntax highlighting right inside of the browser that users could use to build real applications and gain money. So it's not like a weekend project or a prototype. It's something that is currently running and serving millions of people across the globe, and people are like using it to build their startups, their companies, and to make income and make money. So this thing in here that we were going to talk about in the article is very realistic, and all the data inside of the article and insights are very true. And it took them 6 months to complete the full migration from Next.js to TanStack Story. When they started, they only had 350k lines of code, and by the time they have done, it was 850,000. So it was never just like a stale migration where people and the entire team just stopped and they focused on the migration for like a few months to get it done. No, like entire team was just focusing on shipping new features while just a few people and handful of people were actually just picking things up and migrating the entire project line by line. So it started on early or late March in here, and it ended up on late July for the unmigrated lines versus the migrated lines percentage. So before they started the migration to TanStack Store, it was built obviously using Next.js and hosted on Vercel. And as they recorded in here, we originally hosted it elsewhere, but started to hit issues as we scaled, like build compatibility between local and prod, or poor loading times in certain geographies. So for them, Vercel performed really well, and their issues they had actually went away as soon as they moved inside of Vercel. But the main reason, like what you think in here, is that Next.js is bad, or for their specific case, Next.js was not doing really well in performance-wise. It wasn't Next.js to begin with, because the main reason for them here is to actually use their own product and for dog fooding. They want to feel what their users' pains, and they want to have the shortest possible feedback loop to keep making their products better for users. Because Lovable itself, when you go inside of Lovable and try to describe your next application idea in here, like build me an e-commerce website for dog toys, and you hit enter, Lovable starts building stuff. Let's say it builds you this very naive and awesome website in here. What happens behind the scenes is that Lovable builds and hosts primarily using TanStack Start applications, and simply because the framework fits their needs for isomorphic execution, simplicity of deployment, and type safety particularly well. Because now you've got like AI generated code, and type safety is going to be much more important than anything else. The second reason is because now TanStack Story is super lightweight, and it can be packaged as a small worker that can run inside of a worker inside of Cloudflare. That's exactly the architecture they were doing, because each published Lovable application is built as its own worker for Cloudflare's workerd runtime. So using TanStack and making sure TanStack Story is a very lightweight application and they can package it really well for the worker, it's just going to give them like the gains of just quickly deploying any user's application hosted right inside of like Cloudflare's worker, which is a quick win. And the last and the very most important reason for this is they were using a single entry worker to serve every single application by dynamically loading the code of the application itself and creating a dynamic worker and dispatching a request to it. And the dynamic workers in here, they live inside of their own V8 isolate sandbox. And this is thanks to like the Cloudflare workers and the entire architecture Cloudflare built. And this actually allows them to have a private V8 heap and isolate for each application. So no other user's code could be read by another user, or there's no like security concerns in that regards. Plus, this is way much cheaper alternative to using a separate process or booting VMs or containers, because an isolate is a few megabytes of memory and it's just very simple to dispatch or destroy. But if they went for like a VMware, a virtual machine, or containerization or Kubernetes, that would have been a lot more uglier and much more expensive. Plus, workers and isolates could literally have a very small bundle size, which is going to save them a lot in storage cost, and it could start in literally just 4 milliseconds. You mean like 4 milliseconds, with a maximum of 1 second for a huge bundle size of like a very gigantic application. And last but not least, because isolates are also cached and reused, so this is going to make the life simpler and easier. And this is why they chose it, because this is the part that makes running millions of applications economical. And to explain better what isolates are and how they work, it's really great to go ahead and give a read to this awesome article by Cloudflare that was published almost 10 years ago in 2018, when Cloudflare actually published and introduced their worker model, and more specifically V8 isolates. And it was revolutionary because it literally did not use any of the things that were used before by every other company or inside of like the industry itself. Like containers and virtual machines were the one dominating. There wasn't anything else that could beat a virtual machine. But once they introduced isolates in here, it literally changed the entire game. So instead of having a process and a virtual machine in here with like a small code and a lot of overhead, now you've got millions or thousands of isolates in here that are handled by a single process overhead that's going to save you tons of expenses and like expensive operations, tons of like storage stuff, give you total absolute isolation, and the latency is going to be so much better. Like the chart they actually shared in here 10 years ago was Cloudflare literally beating every other serverless provider like Lambda native in here, Google Firebase. Like look at Cloudflare, it was literally the first. And the core sorts, instead of having like 500 milliseconds to 10 seconds for a virtual machine to boot up and start accepting requests and sending back responses, it was just taking a few milliseconds, like 4, 5, 3 milliseconds. And from a security perspective, as they share in here, because they built it on top of V8, and V8 is one of the most very well battle tested software piece of code on planet Earth, literally, and is open source, and anybody could check the source, anybody could fix the things, anybody could fix like or patch security issues. They decided to use V8, and they weren't wrong, and they made the absolute amazing decision. I mean, now what is the actual reason that Lovable made the switch from Next.js to TanStack then? If Next.js was performing as good and Vercel had no issues at all, like what is it? Well, it doesn't have particularly to be about performance, but there are a lot of other qualities that need to be met for a successful project to be called successful, or for you to continue using a specific framework. Starting with developer experience. As I explained in here, the better local developer experience that TanStack Store has actually provided. So TanStack Store here uses Vite as a dev server, which stores faster and consumes several times less RAM compared to Next.js. We're all aware of this, and that's what majority of us, speaking of myself, that's why we love TanStack Store to begin with. And because they were running their huge code base in here, they saw a difference of a 10-second start of 1.5 gigabytes of RAM from TanStack compared to a 70-second start of taking like almost 8 gigabytes of RAM for Next.js. And that was running on latest MacBook Pro M4 Max. And it also mentioning that he saw almost like 20 gigabytes plus of RAM usage from Next.js on his other colleagues like MacBook Pros and machines. And this is not exactly what you want. I mean, you could have like 64 gigabytes of RAM MacBook Pro, but you don't want Next.js to take 20 gigs of your RAM, right? But also a disclaimer in here that because Next.js 16.2 just dropped recently, I've tested it. It has lower usage of RAM, but I don't know how it's like tested on bigger projects, like big scale projects like Lovable in here. But as they mentioned in here, Next.js 16.2 with Turbo Pack enabled, the new 16.3 claims up to 19% reduction in memory usage for dev server. So for those of you guys who have actually tried 16.3, is it really that better, or TanStack Store is basically still the king? The second one is that Next.js abstractions still confuse me. It does confuse all of us. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are still confused. I am still confused by Next.js, like abstractions and all like the server component stuff. And it's happening with big teams, like teams are building Lovable. And as actually they mentioned in here, Next.js was the first popular framework to tackle all complex aspects of server client isomorphism. No wonder it had to go through the few iterations before arriving at the current state. So I've seen many developers, myself included, being confused by server components, server actions, layout versus page separation. Maybe it's a skill issue, but it's genuinely annoying. I don't think it's a skill issue. It's just there are too many things, too many details that you have to keep track of to actually build an application using Next.js nowadays. And you can take it from me, because if you just go through my channel, I've built like a lot of tutorials, a lot of applications just using Next.js back in the days. But moving towards like server components, I was basically starting to losing the fun working with Next.js as I used to do before. And because now TanStack story, it basically like accumulated the industry experience here in a small package, and it has or introduces fewer abstractions compared to like the Next.js API. It made things a lot easier. It's just like if you start using TanStack, you're gonna learn it like literally in a day or two if you're used to like Next.js. And the third most important part why they moved is that agents perform better with TanStack story. I don't know about you guys, but personally, I've been through this. I've been through where I talk to an agent for it, like it's inside of a Next.js project. I try to tell it to build something specific, and instead of it pulls out the latest version 16 Next.js documentation and uses the new API changes, now it goes ahead and it pulls the V15 or the V14. So it just makes my life a lot harder. So I have to go ahead and check the docs for myself. I go ahead and correct the agents. I give the agents like the latest docs URL and tell it, oh, go ahead and check this out, because you're confusing between completely two different Next.js versions. And this is not basically the agent's fault. It's just basically how large language models have been trained on large data sets of like code written and built on top of Next.js from the earlier versions, from version 12 to 13 to 14. It's just been all there. So there are different variations, different versions, and the agent is just going to confuse between them. And as I mentioned in here, the culprit was usually the outdated internet knowledge, or basically the agents lost what the right solution looks like for a specific Next.js version we were running at that specific time, because simply that Next.js version 12, 14, 16, 15 were different from each other and does not make it easy for agents to basically know which is which. And that's a huge advantage for TanStack story, because TanStack story was a brand new framework that started with a simple abstraction and API, and it didn't go through a lot of versions, right? Because it's literally the first version of TanStack, like V1. And that's actually made the problem of like Next.js go away with AI agents. Now AI agents can pick up like a single version or the only available version of TanStack story. It knows all the APIs. There aren't a lot of like deprecated changes, so it knows exactly what it's doing. And we tell it to build you something, it goes ahead and builds it for you. This gives TanStack a huge advantage compared to Next.js, especially if you're using AI coding agents to work inside of your projects. And believe it or not, I've actually been through this. I didn't know it at the times when I was like building my projects using like I was working on different projects, Next.js here and TanStack from the other side. And every single time I talk to the agent to build on TanStack, it's almost always flawless and it works, no issues. But with Next.js, I have to go back and forth with the agents over small stuff like API things in here or configuration for Next.js config multiple times to get it over the finish line and actually, get the things done. So honestly, this is a big, huge issue. The only thing, a downside that I mentioned in here about like TanStack starts and specifically large applications built on top of TanStack story is you need a lot of bundler configuration, because TanStack story is not really that optimized out of the box compared to like Next.js, because Next.js gives you a lot of optimization. It reads your code. It does a lot of optimization, honestly. And I mentioned in here our current build configuration for lovable.dev has more than 17 custom build plugins like custom code splitting, support for multiple custom development environments, assets pipeline, etc. So here are the performance gains they got after the migration. So for most users in here, most web vitals were at parity. This tells you that Next.js was performing really well, like from a user's perspective, but they got faster response times in general for like minus 49% in median time to first byte. And the thing in here is they also got a slower long tail. So they started with a P90 of up to twice slower compared to Next.js, and it took them some work to bring it back now minus 16% versus the original. So it wasn't like, like when you migrate from Next.js to TanStack, everything is going to change. The performance is just going to like go balloon and it's just going to go crazy. No, some metrics are going to go up, some metrics are going to go down, some metrics are going to stay at parity, as it did happen in here with them. But most importantly, like client-side metrics did not change much, and it made it like TanStack start made it a lot easier for them to optimize now. From an internal development team perspective, the website's production build was often the slowest CI check. On Next.js, it was performing like 12 plus minutes, which wasn't uncommon for Next.js. But now with TanStack, it takes around from like 6 to 9 minutes. and they haven't done like any single optimization pass yet. So TanStack is really good with like its CI/CD pipelines and development and like building and bundling. And as per the team in here, is one of the nicest things that happened to them when moving like Lovable or hosting Lovable inside of lovable.dev itself is self-editing. Now, because lovable.dev is going to be like just basically like a regular user's app hosted inside of lovable.dev, which means the team can literally jump inside of lovable.dev, open up Lovable as a project, and actually just preview it, change it, ask AI agents to build on top of it. And this helps them to ship faster. And of course, most importantly, make sure the self-editing agentic Lovable dev experience is ready for their users, and they can fix bugs, and they could like be in the actual user's shoes and actually just like experience it from a first perspective and basically have the full experience, which of course is going to allow them to improve the service to a very good extent.